Ladies and gentlemen, Americans here in Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. I hope you had a great weekend. Well, how about that rally on Saturday in Butler County, Pennsylvania, where Donald Trump came out and said, as I was saying, that was classic. And Elon Musk, who came out all dressed in dark, and he said, I'm dark MAGA. And he spoke about how this is it, you know, and to have a guy as smart as Elon Musk on his team, and to have Elon Musk with Twitter to protect from all the other biased social media platforms is really an unbelievable alliance. And folks, let's face it, it is the end of the line. This is it. But what a rally and what a crowd. They didn't have to pay people to bus in to those kind of rallies. As I did a Facebook Live, one of the things this morning about this, Trump and Musk are problem solvers. Walz and Kamala Harris, they're not problem solvers. They're problem creators. They're political hacks. The contrast is so clear. It's like Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan. It's clear. And everybody needs to make the right choice, which is Trump Vance. All right, Helene. The aftermath of Helene. You know, Helene has just devastated the Southeast all the way to North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Well, Milton is going to hit the same area of Florida that Helene did. The Tampa Bay, Fort Myers area, that whole area. I mean, it's just bam, bam, bam. And I tell you, when you think about there not being relief for the Helene hurricane victims, well, what about Milton? And it's just something else. You know, they spent all that money, which we don't have, they borrowed it, to pay for illegal immigrants. And then when Americans need it, they don't have it. It's political malpractice. It's evil. It's wrong. It's terrible. It's why you shouldn't vote for Kamala Harris. Tim Walz went on Fox News to do an interview. I guess he was thinking, hey, I have to do this to try to clean up things. All it did is make it worse. He didn't have good answers for anything. And another thing about Walz Harris, they don't campaign hard. Trump and J.D. Vance will do 3 to 4 times the amount of rallies that Kamala Harris and Walz do in the closing 30 days. You just watch it. Wisconsin, Trump's going to go there again. He's going to keep going back. Polls look good for him there. Now, this was wild on Friday. Kamala Harris has a teleprompter breakdown after saying we have 32 days. She stops smiling, and then she says 32 days. She said 32 days like 10 times in a row. I mean, this woman can't impromptu anything, if she doesn't have her teleprompter. I mean, folks, she's an empty head. She's a puppet. Biden-Harris. Well, the Biden-Harris administration has just been abysmal. But the interesting thing about it is Joe Biden is now saying Harris was everything. It looks like Joe Biden, pushed by Joe Biden, I'm sure, is trying to undercut old Kamala Harris. I mean, it's pretty funny what he's doing. He even came on once and said, I'm back in the race. Really? Obama-Harris. Obama's going to go out speaking for Kamala Harris. What do you think about that? Nothing. Changes nothing. And the Firefighters Union have always endorsed a Democrat. They're not endorsing anybody. Just think about the impact of that. Teamsters not endorsing the Democrat. Firefighters not endorsing the Democrat. That is an endorsement of Trump. Right direction polls. The polls based on what the country is saying about wrong direction, right direction, there's only like 20-some% think we're going the right direction. Based upon that poll number alone, Kamala Harris is going to lose, based upon tradition. All right, in history. All right, Harris, Pennsylvania. She's apparently losing older voters. Let me see. Trump's made inroads with black voters, Latino voters. He's crushing her on male voters. Now older voters. And guess who votes? The older voters vote. If you told me, who do you want, the older voters or the young voters, I'll take the older voters. Because the young voters just don't go vote. Just the way it is. Don't be a plume-plucked, naughty-pated prig. Be an oracle. Coming up next, local news. All right, this gentleman pictured right here is an axe murderer. He killed his father. Would it shock you to find out that he was found incompetent? You know, if you axe up your father, you might have some mental issue. Kroger, they had that big festival they had to cancel due to the weather from Helene, are giving away 70 pounds of food. Huh? I know, 70,000 pounds of food. It's all right. All right, they're giving away 70,000 pounds of food. Amazon's hiring 2,000 more workers. You know what that means? Good luck trying to get restaurant and retail workers. This lady can't make it up. 40 animals rescued in Claremont County. 40. How many pets do you have? We got one, Willow. We got some hens, but they stay out in the barn. All right, Tim Walz came at a fundraiser over this past weekend. We don't know how much money they raised, but they said it was so wonderful. Leslie Giz is running as an independent for Hamilton County Common Pleas judge after being a Republican for many years. She feels like her name recognition will let her win. She's probably correct. John Kasich says he's not voting for Trump. Once again, just adding to the list of all these people. What does it say? John Kasich, see, not voting for Trump is an endorsement of Harris. That's the way it works. John Kasich would rather have Biden-Harris than Trump. What's that say about the old mailman? Amendment 2 in Kentucky. I've been asked to start promoting the passage of this. Say yes, yes, yes. This is all about school choice. Vote yes. Based upon the mailers that we've gotten, we haven't gotten one mailer saying vote no on it. I think it's going to pass. All right, more homes and independence. Arlene House is going to build a bunch of homes down on Harris. I think it's the Nagelizing property that I once had an option on. The bottom line is more homes coming independence. Speaking of homes, the IRS site down in Covington, Dries is moving forward with the approval to have some single-family homes approved down there. That looks like it's going to be a pretty neat place to live. And Kentucky Cowboy world premiere is at the Louisville Slugger Museum down in Louisville, Kentucky, about my good buddy Chris Thieneman, 3 p.m. this Saturday. If you live near or Louisville, go and see this movie. The premiere's free, 3 o'clock at the Louisville Slugger Museum. This is the Bulldog. Coming up next, Jamie Spinley in World News.
Thank you, Eric. How's everybody doing today? I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. Weather was gorgeous. I was in the yard cutting grass and doing yard work. Anyway, let's see what's going on in the world with the latest world headlines. A South African man has been sentenced to 42 life sentences after being found guilty of 90 counts of rape. Attacks spanning from 2012 to 2021 included victims as young as 9 years old. The court heard that he often forced children to witness his assaults and even compelled young boys to assault their female friends. The National Prosecuting Authorities described these crimes as some of the most heinous ever prosecuted in the country. Haitian authorities have sent anti-gang units to respond to a violent mass shooting near the capital, Port-au-Prince, where gunmen killed at least 70 people. The attack has displaced over 6,000 residents, forcing many to flee for their safety. The government is working to restore order and provide aid to affected communities with ongoing gang violence. In other news, central Bosnia has been struck by flash floods and landslides, resulting in at least 19 deaths and numerous towns being isolated. The worst damage occurred near the town of Jadbinka, a key area on the main road connecting Mostar and Sarajevo. With some homes nearly submerged, several people remain unaccounted for, prompting officials to declare a state of emergency. And this year's Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany saw a staggering 6.7 million visitors who collectively consumed 7 million litres of beer over the festival duration. Despite the large crowds, local police and ambulance services reported fewer incidents compared to previous years, marking a relatively peaceful conclusion to the annual event. You're up to date on the world news. I'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned for Sports Without Boundaries.
Sports Without Boundaries. We got some great stuff in sports. First, the Cincinnati Bengals lost in a heartbreaker to the Ravens. And I'm going to make a few comments about this game here. First off, I don't blame Joe Burrow. That interception, Humphreys raped Chase on that. But regardless of that, the Bengals get the ball back on a fumble. What does Zach Taylor do? You don't try to get the ball closer for an easier field goal? Are you kidding me? You forced your kicker into a 53-yard field. I mean, are you kidding me? Play calling was terrible at the end of that game. What happens? They missed a field goal, and the rest is history. That was a kick in the... And to think about it, instead of being 2-3, 1 game out of first, you're 1-4, 2 games out of first. In your division. It's a division loss. I mean, devastating defeat. And I blame Zach Taylor. NFL was crazy yesterday. I would like to comment on a few games. The Dallas Cowboys game last night was wild. Dak Prescott, the highest paid player in the NFL, 2 interceptions and a fumble down in the red zone. He's lucky he pulled that out and they won it. Very lucky. Other great games around the NFL included a great comeback by the, who was it came back? The Jaguars didn't come back, but the Jaguars won their first game against the Indianapolis Colts, which was a big win because now there are no teams that haven't lost a game. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels, just keeps on rocking and rolling. It's unbelievable what he's doing. Texans keep winning. They beat the Bills. Josh Allen hurt. Anyway, lots of good games. And guess what? College football was even wilder. My Alabama Crimson Tide went down to defeat the Vanderbilt. And by the way, this is another example. Everybody loses their mind over a loss like this. If you follow sports, if you know anything about sports, it's got nothing to do with coaching, players, where you play. In sports, games like that happen to every single team. It just happens. Now, you hope that you're able to pull it out even though you have an off game. Alabama's defense just sucked. They've now dropped down to 7. But with the playoff system of 12 teams, it's not fatal anymore. Let's face it, a lot of those 12 teams are going to have 2 losses, maybe even 3. But the bottom line is everybody lost their mind. Texas is back into number 1. A lot of teams. Notre Dame was off. UK was off. Baseball playoffs. Well, the baseball playoffs are off and running. The Phillies and the Mets are tied 1-1. This is wild. They're all playing divisional rivals now. The Dodgers are 1-1 with San Diego. The Yankees are out front 1-0. And who else? They beat the Royals. Forget who the other teams play. But the bottom line is that the Major League Baseball playoffs are off and running. They're fun. Ohtani's ball, the 50th home run ball, $1.83 million auctioned off for that baseball. Wow. And a Cal student on College Game Day kicked a field goal and got $100,000 from McAfee, who's also going to donate another $500,000 to Helene. I hope he's got some more money to give to Milton. You believe these hurricane names, Roger? Helene, Milton. Yeah, and Savannah Bananas are coming to Cincinnati, playing 2 games in 2025. They're fun to watch, according to Roger. I've never seen them. I've heard about them. They look like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. They look like they might be fun. Coming up next, pop culture. All right, let's have some fun with pop culture. P. Diddy's former security guys are working with 50 Cent in 50 Cent's Netflix documentary about P. Diddy. P. Diddy is toast. Caitlin Goslin says she's broke. How does a pretty woman who's famous be broke? She just needs to latch onto a billionaire. Chris Christopherson was told by his mom, "You're a disgrace to us," when he went to Nashville to be a country music singer. Can you imagine your parent telling you you're a disgrace? Ooh, that burns. P. Diddy, the lawyer that's suing him, says they got 12,000 calls within 24 hours of a hotline on P. Diddy. Man, P. Diddy is never going to get out of jail. He's done. Done. All that fame, all that fortune, it wasn't enough for him. He had to be a sicko. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, baby. The lineup for the 24 induction Hall of Fame. Dr. Dre, Slash, DeLupa, James Taylor, Busta Rhymes, Chuck D, Jelly Roll, Julia Roberts, Keith Urban, Kenny Chesley. Those are the people that are going to be involved. Those who are being inducted: Cher, Mary J. Blige, Peter Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Foreigner, Dave Matthews Band. Ozzy Osbourne, A Tribe Called Quest, set to attend but not perform. I do not understand why there's not a pop Hall of Fame, a rap Hall of Fame, a jazz Hall of Fame. Cher does not belong. I guess you could argue Cher could be in a Rock Hall of Fame because of Sonny work, but it makes no sense, man. Rock and roll. Foreigner is a rock and roll.
It's about time.
Yeah, and it's about time. You know, I say this, Roger, and you probably agree with me. You can take Foreigner's greatest hits, put that up against any music.
Absolutely.
Their greatest hits. All right, this is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.